How much did we spend upgrading our new fifth wheel for full-time RV life?
Stay tuned to find out. Recently, we shared a video covering our top picks for things any new RV owner might want to consider upgrading.
But full-time life is a little different, and any full-timer or anyone that plans to use their RV for extended periods is going to want to really kit out their RV to match their lifestyle.
In this video, we're going to cover all the upgrades we've made to our Sabre 37 FLL fifth wheel for full-time living, lots of boondocking, and our digital nomad work life. The Sabre is a great home for our family for this phase of our traveling life. We love the loft bedroom layout, the big front living room, the huge kitchen, and we love that it's not overrun with features. Just the simple things you need for travel to work well.
We'd rather add all the fun stuff ourselves than have a manufacturer put the things in that aren't quite right for our needs.
So in this video, we're going to run down most of the major additions and upgrades we've made to the RV, some of which are just simple devices that aren't really attached to the rig, but are in some way interconnected to our everyday living.
We're also going to show you the cost of each item, so stick around to the end for the total so you can guesstimate what you might spend on your own choices to outfit an RV for full-time travel or at least serious use.
Now, we do want to be really transparent here at RV Miles, but we also recognize that part of what we do for a living is to take a look at items that you yourself could purchase for your rig. So some of the things we're going to talk about today were given to us by the manufacturer to review, but we'd probably have purchased a similar item anyway.
Let's start off with electrical. The Sabre comes pre-wired for solar and includes a small 50-watt battery tender panel. You can upgrade it to about 400 watts of solar power with the built-in wiring, but we wanted more. We went with the Gopower Solar Extreme Kit. This is an all-in-one, very big box system. The box was huge. That includes 3 190-watt solar panels, a solar controller, a 3,000-watt pure sine wave inverter charger, a control panel for the inverter, and all the wiring, fuses, and brackets you need to install it all. The only things we had to pay additionally for were a roof port for the wiring and some sealant. The kit was pretty easy to install for me. If you have a bit of electrical knowledge, you'll be okay. The hardest part is figuring out where to fish the wires.
The inverter is a whole house inverter, so when we're on battery power, every outlet in the house works, even air conditioning for a short period of time if we want it. The kit is around $3,500 plus installation if you're not going to do it yourself. 570 watts is a decent amount of solar, but this is definitely an area where we plan to expand soon as we head to some very heavy and lengthy boondocking in the West this fall.
One cool thing about the whole house inverter is that it will supplement generator power with battery power. So we're able to carry a much smaller generator than before. We also wanted to upgrade our batteries to match our new solar system. So we got two 250 amp hour Sun Cycle lithium batteries, also from Gopower.
At $4,000 for the pair, they're the most expensive item on the list, but they should last a long time with their 10-year warranty. Lithium batteries have completely changed how we are able to camp without power hookups. We haul the generator out less and less.
Every RV's power system needs protected from surges, spikes, and overvoltage. We've long been users of the Power Watchdog by Hughes Autoformers, having used the 30-amp plug-in version in our last RV. This time we went with the hardwired version since we were doing a big electrical upgrade anyway.
It'll shut down your RV's power when lightning is about to ruin all your sensitive electronics or when a campground has bad voltage, which has happened to us way too often recently.
The 50-amp hardwire version is about $212, and it's actually one of the few things in this world that have come down in price. The 30-amp version is $144, and if I had it to do over again, I think I might have gone back to the plug-in outdoor version because it's nice when you're in a janky looking campground to be able to plug that in before you back into the site and test the power.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. The next item on the list is certainly not for everybody. We started our RV journey in a bus conversion, and our toilet in the bus conversion was a Nature's Head composting toilet. We were so happy with the way it allowed us to spend a long time off grid without using too much water or dumping too often that we decided to put one into our fifth wheel, having spent 2 years prior in the travel trailer where we were doing a traditional toilet setup.
The install was a little tricky in this rig since it needs to be vented to the outside, and we don't have a direct outside wall in our bathroom. There's a shower there, but I was able to run a vent pipe behind the shower.
And it was very stressful watching him cut a hole in our brand new fifth wheel. That said, composting toilets use no water and separate the liquids from the solids. They come with a jug for the liquids that you dump out, which we found to be the grossest part of the whole thing by far back in our bus days.
In the fifth wheel, we've plumbed the liquids into our black tank, which took a bit of figuring out, but now we have a 40-gallon tank that is only used for urine, no additional water or anything, and a toilet that doesn't need water. We can go for 3 weeks without having to dump the urine or change out the solids in the compost chamber. And honestly, that part isn't gross at all.
And it's Jason's responsibility. So I can also say that part is not gross. A Nature's Head will run you about $1,000. I know that sounds expensive, but when you consider what you can do with it, especially how it opens up a whole world of dry camping, and we are a family of 5, it is absolutely worth the investment.
Most trailers come from the factory with fairly generic tires, and many people will tell you you need to get rid of them immediately. They're actually fine for most RVers, the vast majority of whom travel to their local state parks and only use their RVs for 2 weeks out of the year. But if you plan to travel long distances or all throughout the year, good tires are an absolute must.
We upgraded to Goodyear endurance tires for peace of mind. We had them on our travel trailer too, and we were very happy with them. It's one of the few made in America trailer tires you can find.
I particularly like the sidewall protection. It's unavoidable to scuff against a curb now and then when you put 15,000 miles on a trailer in a year. And that's something that can really damage cheaper tires.
They'll run you about $160 each, including installation. For us, that was about $800 for 5 tires, but it's absolutely worth it. It was a great peace of mind.
And speaking of peace, one of the first things we knew we'd need to be replacing inside our rig was the mattress in our main bedroom.
Mm-hmm.
Most factory RV mattresses just aren't built for sleeping on every night.
But there was a problem. We couldn't just go out and buy any kind of RV King. No, in fact, we couldn't have anything thicker than 8 inches because when closed, our wardrobe slide comes over about 1/3 of our bed. Anything thicker and the slide can't close. So with options limited, we naively thought a really nice movable mattress topper would solve our problem. Really silly of us to think that. Thankfully, RVmattress.com by Brooklyn Bedding stepped in and saved us from ourselves and gave us a good night's sleep.
We've been testing out their Wanderlust series mattress for about 3 months now and couldn't be happier. When looking at upgrading, what caught our eye about RVmattress.com was that they have a 120-night sleep trial and the ability to pick different sizes and thicknesses depending on your RV mattress needs.
Plus, their products are toxin-free and incredibly simple to set up. Delivery to the campground. Yes, the campground was easy, and within hours of unboxing the mattress, it was fully expanded and ready for us to sleep on that night. But what about the slide?
Well, we had to get a little creative and break out the power tools in order to get their 10-inch mattress to fit. We ordered the 10-inch mattress and we only had 8 inches of clearance. But being full-time, we were looking for max comfort. We removed the bottom trim on our wardrobe slide and then cut the trim down so there was no extra overhang. We gave ourselves an extra 2 inches of height, and we've been sleeping like babies ever since.
And sometimes you have to get a little creative in this full-time RV life. So RVmattress.com also offers free shipping even to your campground. Just make sure they can accept a package first. Trust us on that one. RVmattress.com is also extending 20% off your purchase when you visit RVmattress.com/RVmiles and use promo code RVmiles. We'll link to all of that, including the exact mattress we purchased, in the description below.
The Sabre 37 FLL comes with a small outdoor kitchen that has 2 burners, a wash pan, and a dorm-style refrigerator. After about 6 months on the road, we decided that we didn't really need that outdoor refrigerator, especially since we have a really big refrigerator inside, and that outdoor one is 120 volt. Our indoor one is DC powered, which is great for boondocking. But the 120 volt small refrigerator drew too much power, and it wasn't worth it to have it running off of the inverter for just some drinks.
So we decided to pull it, out it goes, and give us a little bit more storage. And in its place, we put in a really great toaster oven from Ninja, which many of you on Instagram recommended, and that's how I found it. It has a not so great name though. It's the Ninja SP101 digital Airfry countertop oven with 8-in-1 functionality. Say that 10 times fast. We've met several families on the road with this exact oven, and they too sing its praises. So we tried it out. It's great. It's an air fryer, it's a roaster oven, dehydrator, and more. But the best part is that it flips vertically. So on travel days, we can fit more stuff into the outdoor kitchen. It is a little pricey though. It's about $200 on Amazon, but we have used the indoor oven less and less, which means we're using propane less and less.
It's time to talk connectivity. We're more connected now than ever wherever we go now that we have Starlink satellite internet. We can boondock far away from cell towers and camp in the middle of national parks with lightning fast internet. Now, there are lots of pros and cons, which I went over in a recent video you can find linked up in the corner somewhere or in the description. But it's become our new primary internet service as long as we're not camping under trees. It's going to cost you about $700 up front for the equipment and then $135 a month on top of that.
Since Starlink doesn't work under obstructions and in motion, we still carry cellular internet as well. Starlink is also a bit of a chore to set up, so it's nice not to worry about it on quick overnight stops. We've been using T-Mobile service from Travel Data for about a year now, and it has been surprisingly excellent as long as there are cell towers nearby.
It's unlimited, unthrottled LTE data for a fair price, and you own the router. Some of these third-party data plans charge you a ridiculous fee to rent the router. So even if an issue arises with this plan, you have the router and you aren't out that money. You can find them at traveldata.page, and the service is $62 a month plus a one-time $235 payment for the router.
When we're getting far from the cell towers, we often need to boost the signal for T-Mobile or our Verizon phones, and that's where the Weboost Destination RV Cell Booster comes in handy.
They have smaller models that take up a lot less room, but this beast has a great directional antenna that you can point toward the tower for the best signal. And it comes with a 25-foot telescoping pole that has two brackets that stick to the side of your RV with very strong adhesive. We have not been concerned at all about them coming off.
No.
This is really for people who have the room to haul something big and who sit in a spot for a week or two at a time. If that's not you, consider the Weboost Drive Reach RV Cell Booster. It can be mounted permanently and used in motion.
Watching Jason set this thing up is really, truly a joy. The Destination RV Booster is about $600 and the Drive Reach is about $500.
All that internet is great for streaming movies and shows on our living room and bedroom TVs, which we've outfitted both with Roku devices. We've been using the Roku system for several years now and prefer it well over Google Chromecast or Amazon Fire Stick.
We have a Roku Express in the bedroom and then a Roku soundbar in the living room, which pulls triple duty by acting as the speakers for our TV and our sound system for listening to music or podcasts. And then Roku streaming is built right into it.
A Roku Express is $40 and the soundbar is $170. You can also get TVs with Roku software on board, which is what we had in our travel trailer. It's way better than any smart TV operating system offered by TV manufacturers. No need to upgrade the TV that your RV came with to a smart TV. Just slap a Roku on it. For
gaming and playing DVDs and Blu-rays, I know, DVDs, is that even a thing anymore?
We have a bunch.
I can't remember the last time we watched an actual DVD. But in case we get nostalgic, we do have the new Xbox Series X, which also works really great with Starlink, so the kids can play games online. If you have a gaming system like an Xbox, you can also forego the Roku and use the console's apps for Netflix, Hulu, YouTube, and more. The Xbox is really nice to have on rainy days, like it has been here in Virginia for the last 3 days. It's about $500. It makes a great Christmas present, and that's exactly what we did for our kids.
Finally, we use a Google Nest Hub in the kitchen to help keep our family organized. We love to ask Google to play a game or to see our travel photos, which get shown on it automatically from our Google Photos account.
What I love about being able to display the photos too is that it gives us a way to see our travels, to relive the places we've been without having to put holes or hang things all over the walls. We've got this scrolling, just constant motion of our travels. It's absolutely fantastic. Another thing I like about it too is that we set a timer on it for homeschooling and screen time. We can check the weather and we can do so much more. It's also linked to the Roku and the Xbox, and you can control them when we say, "Hey Google, play the RV Miles podcast on the Roku soundbar."
But don't. Hey, Google, cancel. We've just scratched the surface on smart systems in an RV, and we're looking forward to adding a lot more interconnectivity. The Google Nest Hub runs under $100, and then there's a bigger version that's a little bit more.
So what's the total damage? Did you try to add it up in your head?
$12,732 is the total.
Ooh.
Now, remember, though,
Yikes.
3/5 of that is into the solar and battery system.
Yeah.
And along with the composting toilet, which is another $1,000. I mean, we're basically at 2/3 of that cost there. And that allows us to reduce our campground costs dramatically.
Yeah, I alluded to this earlier, but we do have, when we head out back to the West in the fall of 2022, we are doing, I believe, 6 or 7 weeks consistently back to back.
And then we're doing like 2 weeks in a campground and then going back to boondocking again.
Yeah, so you can really, I know up front it costs a lot to do all this, but in the long game, if you look at the long game for this, it really can make some financial sense. So with that said, though, we would love to know what you have done or what you plan to do to upgrade your RV. Let us know in the comments along with your thoughts on our upgrades, but do be nice about it.
Make sure to whack the like button if you got something out of this video, and subscribe for more.
Whack that button, huh?
Smash that like button.
Oh my goodness.
Oh yeah.
Okay, Kool-Aid Man, we will see. Or maybe it's Macho Man, Randy
Either
Savage.
one.
Which one do you?
Snap it to a Slim Jim.
Oh, we'll see you next time.